Hello and welcome to lesson 6 of the Healing Path to Your Soulmate. Now this lesson's all about fear and about feeling good, and also about your lists and what they tell you about yourself. And so firstly about fear and about our guidance system. So you already know that when you have a desire for something, to experience something, to bring something into your life, that if you are aligned with it, you can bring it in. So if you only have good feelings about it, you can bring it in instantly. Or if you don't, if you aren't aligned with it, if there's still some negative feelings there, then the path is manifest instantly. So you will be shown what things you need to work on and release so that you do feel good about it. Now it's this feeling good and feeling bad which is the key. And so when there's something, when we have a thought about something and it makes us feel good, that feeling good is our indication, it's our inner guidance system telling us that that is aligned with our higher selves, okay? And so it's our internal guidance system that tells us through our feelings by feeling good whether something's aligned with us or not. Whether it's aligned with our higher selves or not, so that's our higher purpose or what's best for us. Likewise, when we think something or notice something or focus our attention on something that doesn't make us feel good, that's showing us that that thought that we're having or that focus that we're having is not aligned with our higher selves or with what we're really wanting. And so it's really important to use these feelings and so not to do things before we feel good about them, because if we do something, if we make a decision that we're going to do something before we feel good about it, then we're not going to get good results from it, because it shows that we're not aligned with that. And so it's really important to get aligned with it. And so if you're feeling bad about something and you act on that while feeling bad, you're acting, trying to push through a misalignment, and you won't be able to push hard enough for that misalignment to turn into alignment. It's just not going to happen, and so the results aren't going to be what you want. However, if instead of pushing through it and acting anyway, you change your mind about how you feel and turn it around to feeling good about it, then you are going to be able to get good results from that. And so why would you want to feel good about something that initially you didn't feel good about? Well, our internal guidance system, these feel good feelings and these feel bad feelings, happen to show us whether we're in alignment or not. And these feelings happen instantly. As soon as we focus on something, as soon as we have a thought, those are the feelings we get instantly. Now, what can happen after that is our ego mind can get involved and start talking about that situation. And it can start making us feel fear. Now, fear isn't part of our internal guidance system. Fear isn't an instant feeling to something. Fear is something that comes about when our minds start thinking about something and start making up stories about it. And so fear isn't something to be trusted. It isn't a feeling to be trusted. And so the reason I'm talking about this is on your list you will have found that you'll have written things, on the second list you will have written things that you see yourself doing when you're in your soulmate relationship that you aren't doing now. And it may be that when you think about doing those things now, you're going to feel fear about doing that. And so imagine that it's you're seeing yourself going on holiday twice a year, okay? When you're in your soulmate relationship, and at the moment you're not going on holiday at all because you don't have anyone to go with. And when you think about going on holiday, the initial feeling is feel good when you're thinking about going on holiday, and so that's your guidance system saying yes, your higher self knows that you want to go on holiday, you want to do this. But then your ego mind starts thinking about it and thinking, well, I'll feel really lonely if I go on holiday. And while you're feeling that fear of being lonely, that is showing you that that fear of feeling lonely is not aligned with your higher self. And so if you were to book a holiday and go on holiday while you felt like that, then you would have a holiday where you would feel really lonely. And of course, when you're in your soulmate relationship, you're not going to feel lonely, and so that's not aligned with you at all, this feeling of loneliness. And so instead of doing that, instead of booking that holiday and going on holiday while you're feeling lonely or feeling that you would be lonely doing it and having that fear, what I want you to do is actually feel that fear. And just know that it's fear. It's not your guidance system. Your initial guidance system was that it feels good to go on holiday. That was something that you'd like to do. I'm sure when you wrote it down on your list, you didn't start thinking of the fears. You might have started thinking of them later. And so the fear always comes later. It's always thoughts about that subject rather than the subject itself. And so talk yourself around. And so feel that fear and then talk yourself around. First of all, you might say, well, I would hope to go on holiday and meet like-minded people, to be able to spend my time with them. And from that thought, you might start to expect, well, if I'm going on holiday doing what I like to do, then I'm going to meet people that like doing the same things as me, and so we're going to have things in common. And so I expect to meet people that have things in common with me more than the people that I work with, or maybe more than the people that I hang around with. And it would be really nice to make some new friends. And so you're feeling better about this already, and you're not feeling so lonely about it anymore. And so you can turn this around and turn it around. Visualization is great too. Something that children do so well is make-believe. And so a child knows these secrets of manifestation so well that they use these things all the time. And so you can do it too. You can start like visualizing or playing just as a child would, and visualize yourself, or make believe that someone's there with you and that someone's going with you. And so you can do this. For that example of going on holiday, you could visualize your soulmate going with you, and so just pretend that someone's there by the side of you, just as a child would pretend. And you're going to get, not only you're going to feel that comfort from that situation that you're more comfortable with, but you're also putting out that energy that you want, that you've got someone with you. You want someone with you. And the more you can feel like you have someone with you, then the more you're putting that energy out, the more you're going to attract people towards you. And so it's really important to feel good before you do anything. And this is good advice for any aspect of your life. And so I'll give you an example of something that I turned around completely just by turning around how I felt about it to get a positive outcome. And so anyone that if you live in Australia, you might know this already, but we have a telephone company here. I won't name names, but there's a big telephone company here, and everyone knows that if you call them up, then you're going to have quite an experience. You're going to be left on the phone for a long time, and you're going to be passed from department to department, and it's a long process. And pretty much everyone that I've talked to has the same experience with this company. Well, this was quite a few months ago now, but I needed to change my internet plan. I was doing a lot more webinars and informational videos like this, a lot of downloads and uploads, which required me to be on a bigger plan. And it was substantially changing something that I'd signed up for previously. And my eldest son had come to live with me again, and we just had different requirements. Okay, and so I needed to call them up and to get this changed. But every time I thought about doing it, I would have these negative feelings that I was going to, I didn't have 2 hours to spend on the phone, and so I kept on putting it off, and I just kept on feeling bad about it and kept on putting it off. And so I knew not to go ahead and call them up while I was feeling bad about it like that. And so one morning I decided to turn it around. I got up that morning and I thought, I really need to do something about this, and so I need to change what I'm feeling about this. And I thought, well, it could be that I call them up and the phone gets answered straight away, and I'm talking to the right person straight away who can help me, and they might have a great offer for me, giving me exactly what I need, like the solution that I need, even though I can't see what that solution could be because I'm signed up for different products. But they could have the perfect solution for me, and they could be able to do it really quickly. And so that made me feel really good. And once I was feeling really good, that's when I picked up the phone and I called them. And I had a totally different experience than I've ever had with them before. the phone was answered within 3 rings. And I was talking to someone in Australia instead of someone in India. I just happened to be picked up by a team of people who were looking into the way that customers are kind of being interacted with, and so I got someone who had access to everything about the company and who could sort out my problem straight away. And so not only did they have the ideal solution for me, they said that I could switch all these plans and change it, and that they could give me like the best of the best kind of thing, is that because what I was using before was a mobile kind of a device, so that I could so I could work in hotels when I was away, or I could work from home, and they said that I could retain that and switch over to that when I was away as well. And so they gave me far beyond my expectations, and it was really great. And I only spent about 20 minutes on the phone as well, and it was all sorted out, and it was perfect. And so it just showed how changing your mind and feeling good about something before you do it, even if you have to convince yourself of it, really works. And so for your homework today, what I want you to do is to get out those 3 lists that you've written. I want you to get those lists out and compare them with each other. And so this is your list, your first list, and so what your soulmate is like. Your second list, which is what you are like in a soulmate relationship, and your third list, which is why your soulmate loves you, what your soulmate loves you for. Okay? And I want you to put those 3 lists side by side and read through them all again. When you are completely aligned with yourself and your soulmate, these 3 lists will look identical. And so you will be aligned with your soulmate, and who you are being is aligned with that, and what you want from your soulmate is aligned with that. And so all of these 3 lists will be exactly the same when you're completely aligned. And so what I want you to do is go through these lists and see where you are completely aligned already. See where those 3 things match across those lists, and that shows you that you're completely aligned within that respect. And so then it's your job to go through the list and find those parts that aren't aligned yet. And now when you find the ones that aren't across 3 lists and show you that you aren't aligned, what I want you to do then is really ask yourself, is that what you want? Is that something that is really you? Is that really you that you've put down on that list? And if it isn't you, if you've imagined that you would be somebody else in a soulmate relationship, and so you've pictured somebody that isn't really you, doing things that you wouldn't really do, ask yourself why, because that can be a big sign of how you are imagining that yourself and how you really are isn't worthy of a soulmate, and you are, and as yourself, exactly as you are now, worthy of a soulmate. And so you as you are, being yourself completely, is worthy of a soulmate. You don't need to be anyone else. You don't need to try and be anyone else or put any masks on. That is not how you find a soulmate. You can only find a soulmate by being really true to yourself. And so it's really important that you remove those masks and you allow yourself to really be you. And so just take out those things. Take those things off the list that aren't really you. And allow yourself to be you. And take note of the things that you're not already being, but that are you. And as I said, turn those around so that you feel good about them, so that you can start doing them. Use your visualizations and get those fears out of the way. Talk yourself around. When you feel those fears, feel it, and then just talk your way around so that you start to feel good about it. Firstly, by convincing yourself to hope for something better, and then to expect something better, and then convince yourself that something amazing might happen. And so as soon as you've got your energy focused on that, something amazing will happen, because you're feeling really good about it, and that's how you can manifest what's really good. And so keep going on these lists, keep working through these lists, keep on aligning more and more. When these 3 lists are exactly the same as each other, then you'll be totally aligned. And so keep on looking through them and aligning them with each other and changing, working through the releases that, like I've told you, when you were making those lists, so that you can get those aligned with each other. So thank you, and I'll see you in the next lesson.